What's up, guys? We flew him out all the way from Long Island, New York. He's the #1 bantamweight in the world. They call him the Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling, and I'm feeding him empanadas on this week's Food Truck Diaries. You're the #1 bantamweight in the world. How's that sound?
It gives me chills, man.
This is LA's best Puerto Rican empanadas. Are you an empanada fan?
Big empanada fan back home too. My girlfriend's, she's Salvadorian.
How you doing? What's like your most popular empanadas?
Barbecue mac attack is bomb.com.
Okay, I want the one that's bomb.com.
I'll go with the beefy empanada.
Beefy empanada?
Sounds like my nickname. Are you dieting right now?
No, I'm.
Oh, so you're good?
My abs are gone. You're on vacation.
And then as far as sides, we're thinking the sweet plantains. Thank you.
Thank you.
You ordered a lot of food.
Yeah. I'm gonna crush though.
You know what's disappointing? Can I tell you? I'm disappointed right off the bat with this. You don't have your thick ass chain on, bro. I wanted to wear it this entire show. I was driving here. I'm like, I'm gonna ask him where his chain. I'll give him mine. I'm looking at mine. I'm looking at how thick yours was. You just rock that thing all the time?
Nah, I only wear it for like the fight stuff, fight media day, things like that, and the fans get a kick out of it. I love it too.
I
It's
love
like
it, dude.
A little old school throwback, you know?
Yeah, it's like some DJ Jazzy Jeff shit or something.
Yeah, Run DMC.
Yeah,
Run DMC.
that's sick. Where'd it come from? Where's the chain come from?
Well, my dad used to rock this pretty similar thick rope chain, and he had the high top before back then. He had like a sick pendant with like a huge lion's head on it. I got a picture. I showed it to ESPN like a while ago, and they did a whole feature on my family and stuff like that. But
that's cool.
Ever since then, man, I've always loved like that old school feel, and I kind of still vibe out to that, like that old school way. Like the new school music is not really my thing. Like some of the stuff is kind of weird to me.
The mumble rappers?
The mumble rappers stuff. I mean, I can get with it when I have to, but the old school stuff is like still true to my heart, you know?
The beats are good with the new school.
Yeah, and that's pretty much about it.
But the lyrics, unless you're J. Cole, not great.
He's good. He's really good.
He's
still
the best.
Yeah.
Him or Kendrick.
And that's pretty much where it comes from, man. And I was like, you know what? Let's do something that's gonna still be me, be original, still be not like over the top, but still cool at the same time.
And that's where the flat top, was that flat top? A high face?
Juice.
All right. That's where it comes from, the old school vibe?
Yeah. So it's the whole thing, just try to figure out how to do this whole thing. And I used to rock the high top too when I was a little kid. And I was like, you know what? Let's add the part and kind of do it like that.
A little flavor on there.
Yeah, it's been cool so far, man. Thank you.
What I was saying this off here is getting ready for this interview. I was like, let me see what he's up to, man. I always do like a quick search just to see. I usually know, especially most of the fighters that come on, I usually know enough where I don't have to do too much research. But with you, I'm like, I just gotta see what he's up to. And then it started popping up. You actually have a podcast.
Yep.
And I told you, I was like, yeah, let's see this bullshit. Like you know, I'm like, let's see this bullshit. I clicked on, it was really good, man.
Thank you,
What's
man.
the name of the podcast?
The Weekly Scraps.
Dude, A, you're funny. B, you got the gift of the gab. Like, you're really good at it, man. You're really good at it. And I don't know if anyone's told you this, and I don't know if the UFC has told you this, but after you get done being world champion and making your run in the UFC, your future's gonna be in television broadcasting. You know this, right?
I feel it, man. I don't think I'm gonna do anything else. I try to think about myself going back to working, using my degree and going back to teaching in a school. I'm like, I don't know if I can do that.
You're not a teacher, bro. You
know.
got too many gifts.
I can't
not
see
that
myself
anything's
doing
wrong
that.
with teaching, but
phys ed. So, you know, just play with the kids.
A gym teacher?
Yeah, have a good time, man.
No, you just take the bag of balls. I'm like, all right, I'll see you later. And you're wearing sweats. That's a good gig. But yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man, that's gonna be your future. Is that something you want to do? Like I watched that, and went, oh, because on your podcast for the hardcores, like you break down the fights, you get balls deep into fighting, and it's real technical, and you speak well. But then, like I was like, oh, there's so many layers to open up here. Just my producer mind, I'm like, oh, he could do this. But I'm surprised the UFC hasn't been like, oh, come here, dude.
They're dropping the ball, man. They better make sure they grab me up quick, because
they will.
Get it while it's hot,
you know? For a number of reasons. Dude, your girl. So how long you been with her?
8 years, but we've been talking a little bit longer than that, but we started officially dating in 2011.
One of my boys is like, oh, you gotta ask him about Floyd Mayweather. So I put my journalist hat on and I did a little investigating. And you guys were at a pool party in Vegas. You're there with your girl. Money Mayweather shows up. He sees your girl. He's looking, he's a liking. He points to her. Now, before you go into this, right, I went, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. So being around Floyd and seeing, you know, he always rolls with a crew of girls. This isn't, I'm not leaking his info there. It's what he does.
Yeah.
They are the baddest baddies on the planet. So when I heard he point at your girl, I went, oh, well, his girl's a dime. Because she fits with the, what are they called?
The MO.
What's his strip
Girl
club?
collection. Girl collection. Girl collection.
She fits right in, dude.
Yeah.
That's a compliment.
We get to the pool parties. Weidman's like next day after post-fight victory party. So we're hanging out.
Which fight is this?
Vitor Belfort
Okay.
at the Palms. So we're at the Palms, and he's down there. So Mayweather walks in. He's there with his whole entourage.
Everyone goes crazy.
Crew of guys. He's got his Louis Vuitton towel on.
Yeah.
His little backpack, and they're in their section on the floor, and we're upstairs partying. Weidman's like, I think he actually went down there. So he's hanging out. I'm like, damn, I was a little jealous. I kind of wanted to go hang out. I was like,
fanboy. I'm like, oh shit, Floyd!
it was like, they invited him down, so he went.
He's the champ. Yeah, that makes sense.
I would have went. I would have went.
Yeah,
But I was
Floyd
like,
Mayweather.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I respect greatness, you know? And yeah, I just got rubbed the wrong way when he's pointing to my girl, telling her to come down.
Well, hold on. So he walks in. You guys are on top, and Floyd's like this to your girl. Are you like by her? And he's like, yo.
Now, I wasn't by her the first time. She was
Not to defend him, he thought maybe she was by herself.
Yeah, she was there with another girl, one of my good friends, the GM at the gym, his girlfriend.
Oh, word.
And they were both hanging out by the balcony, just looking over. I'm like, I want to look over, but I don't want to be like that guy.
I feel you. You
know,
want to be all up on his nuts.
Yeah.
I'm the same, dude. I
Exactly.
pretend I don't see him when everybody else does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're hanging out, and he's over there in his station with his crew.
Points to your girl?
Points to her.
And what's she do?
I guess she's kind of like looking around like who, me? And I guess he sends someone over. So he sends over his first recruit. I call him a minion.
Yeah.
Sends over his first minion, the money team minion. The guy comes over, I'm like, another man's not about to come over here and tell my girl she's invited to go downstairs and go hang out with the money team. Fuck.
But they didn't know. They just thought this was normal procedure for Money Mayweather, bro.
Yeah, for sure. So it was a little crazy, man. I was a little flattered, but at the same time, slightly annoyed. I was like, man, this is about to be a fight. So I'm telling the guy, I'm like, dude, tell Mayweather he's undefeated in MMA. In boxing, I'm undefeated in MMA. If he wants to find out what sport is better, you could tell him we could find out today if he keeps like trying to press up on my girl.
Say?
He was like, all right, I'm gonna let him know, but he wasn't gonna let him know. You're his minion. You're not going back with bad news saying that.
No, he was like, oh, dude, she's not into it. Anyways, let's keep going.
Pretty much. Yeah, so he sends over a girl the second time. And I'm like, dude, this guy is persistent.
It's 15-0 for a reason.
So I'm thinking, I'm like, dude, I'm about to take my first loss today. I'm thinking, I didn't know what to expect because it's my first time my girl's interacting with somebody of his status quo. So I'm like, now I'm getting to see her true character, you know.
This is a test.
This is a big test. And so the girl comes over, he sends over a hot chick. And he's like, yeah, you guys can both come over. And I tell her the same thing. I was like, listen, I know how this goes.
Yes.
If I go over there, she goes up, I get stopped by the door, and guess what's gonna happen? I'm not getting punked in front of hundreds of people, probably on cameras, and look like some scrub.
You're right, bro.
I'm fighting. Even if I got lose to all his big ass bounces, I'm like, I'm fighting, I'm going down swinging. You beat my ass in front of everybody, just know I'm going down with a fight, and that's it.
End of the story, your girl was like, nah, I'm not going down there.
She had a nice glow on her face. She was happy.
It was just a confidence booster, but you can get it. Like if Beyonce, if you're on the balcony, but Beyonce pointed at you, you'd be like, what, me? Oh, dude, I'm like, what's up, girl? What's up? What's up?
For sure, and I'm gonna tell my girl, you know who it is? It's Queen B. I can't say no.
I know.
Can't say no to Queen B.
But now she made the right choice because you're the #1 bantamweight in the world, coming off a huge win over Pedro Munoz, probably the best performance of your career.
Thank you.
And when you look at your track record, you had 2 split decision losses, right? And then you get wins, and then you had the Marlon Moraes loss, which to me, I just chalk it up as whoever showed up that night, things happen.
Yeah.
Right? That was a phenomenal KO for Marlon Moraes. And then, but now you're you leapfrogged him because what you've done since that. And then now you got freaking your boy, Henry Cejudo, champ.
Henry say doo-doo.
So, I mean, you're in a spot where I'd assume you get the next title shot.
I think so too, man. I think my performance was something that everyone was raving about. In terms of my popularity, that thing has skyrocketed unlike I would have ever imagined. And I haven't even fought on, I fought on the main card one time, you know. Is
that it?
It's really crazy.
You've been on the prelims?
Prelim headliner or on the prelims.
Like good spots though, because sometimes to be honest, sometimes that gets more views than the pay-per-view.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I chalk it up to me just being good at social media and promoting myself and keeping the fans in the know when I'm fighting, telling them to tune in, and not just showing up to fight and just hopefully everyone tunes in. It doesn't really work like that.
Don't you find that exhausting though? Like when I look at some of the stuff that you're doing for Fight Week, you have your own camera, you're posting all the social media stuff. Like when I was fighting, I remember like when we had media day, I was like, thank God that's over. I don't have to keep talking about this fight. I don't want cameras in my face. Now look at you, you're really, I mean, you're on it, dude.
Yeah, and I do my own vlogs, man. Those vlogs I be putting up and stuff, that's me doing my own editing and stuff like that. I've been trying to find someone who I can work with and help me create these things for a reasonable price. I'm doing all the shooting.
You're gonna find someone now.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah,
So if you guys are out there, you need a job,
You're definitely gonna find one. Yeah.
hit me up.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, you're right though. Super exhausting, constantly talking about the fight. You're
But you
cutting
must
weight.
like it.
It's fun. I don't know if you had to cut the weight, weight
No,
problem.
I was a big boy.
So that's when it's like really draining. It's like, yo, dude, I just want to go to my room and chill out. And you gotta keep that energy, smiling the whole time. But it's part of the job, you know, and I enjoy it.
Some guys, it's not part of the job. Some guys are like, nah, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Which I think it's gonna pay, as long as it doesn't become, as long as it doesn't take away from your performance.
And at the end of the day, I think it all equates to bigger checks. And I think that's what everybody complains about. But if you want bigger checks, you got to put in the work. Even like a Conor McGregor, when he came into the scene, and he put in a lot of time in terms of like building the media up and the hype for his debut. And that's a smart businessman, you know. So I take pages from you, from a Rogan, from a Conor McGregor, even a Ben Askren, like anyone who's doing promoting and
100%.
social media and just trying to see what I could do and make stuff work for me that can help elevate my.
Because you're investing in yourself. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like
It's a business.
It's a business. You're you're the CEO of your own business. So the UFC, they do a great job marketing that they can, but they have so many guys now. Like it's up. I always tell this to fighters, it's up to you, man.
Yeah.
You're your own publicist.
Okay.
That's thatbomb.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm about to slay.
Have you eaten today?
Nah, airplane food, I don't think that counts though.
Doesn't count.
This is actually really good.
Is it nice?
I think this is mac and cheese.
You know what empanadas are?
Or the buffalo.
They're deep fried calzones. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
It's a calzone, dude. This is a buffalo chicken calzone.
Who copied who though?
That's a great question.
This is amazing.
Any word on what's next for you? Because you're in a tricky spot because you kind of got to wait on Henry Cejudo, right? Does he defend at bantamweight or does he defend at flyweight? Because he's the champ, right? Like,
Yeah, he's kind of calling the shots. I think he said he wanted to fight at flyweight first, which is cool. Benavidez had a sick last fight. Benavidez does have a win over him. I tweeted something after that fight, and people thought that I was saying, like, I don't want the title shot no more.
How dare
Benavidez
you.
can have it. I was like, dude, can you guys not read?
what did you say?
I said, if I lost the title, the first crack at Henry Cejudo to Benavidez, I wouldn't be mad at all. I'm like, the guy's a legend. He's been around forever. He's
You're
got
a
a win
nice
over
guy.
him.
You're a nice guy.
But-
and I appreciate that. But nice guys finish last.
They do.
Especially this day and age with the negativity of social media.
Yeah. I can just tell how they can spin it, you know?
I
So
know.
I'm not even gonna lie to myself and say, like, I got this locked up in the bag, you know? So I'm like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then I'll just wait, take an interim title fight, and maybe fight that guy who's been talking so much shit to me, Petr Yan.
Ah, he's a beast. You're all beast. I hate when people say that. He's tough. Well, you're all tough. That's who you think you get?
Yeah, he tried to punk me at the UFC PI Center, which was pretty funny, actually.
I'm surprised more fights don't happen at that. I know everyone's a professional, but take it easy. You're cage fighters.
Yeah.
So when you're all at the Performance Institute, I assume like shit has to go down.
Yeah, so I'm getting worked on, laying on the table. I see him through the window, and he starts going like this. We make eye contact, and I go, "Oh, Petr Yan,
wow.
Petr
He did
Yan."
this?
He started doing this,
I'm a fan.
and then I was like, "Oh, okay," and I did it back, and then I went like this while I was laying on the table. I was like, "Yeah."
Joking or is he? He
I don't
looks like
know.
he'd be serious.
I
I
don't
feel
know.
like you'd be joking.
I'm joking, but actually really serious at the same
Oh,
time.
wow.
So when he came in, it was kind of like, I could feel the energy, feel him like trying to act a little tough. The cameras were on. I know he says he doesn't like to talk about stuff. He does his fighting in the cage. So now it's kind of funny to see all the cameras come on, and now he's like, he's got a big mouth all of a sudden. I'm like, oh, now you want to hype the fight? I'm like, okay, I'm all for this. Just make sure you know who's the one who started it. So when I start dishing out that fire,
Yeah, you know.
I don't
what's
want to
up.
hear your complaints.
Yeah, don't complain. Act like
Yeah.
innocent angel over there.
Yeah, exactly. Because he was telling me I'm talking so much. I was like, dude, you're doing more talking to me. I haven't even said anything. You're the one saying you could beat me and Cejudo with one hand and one neck. Who says that? Like, your fight with Rivera was okay. I think I had a much better performance. I think every single round he had with Jimmy was close.
Rivera's so good too, man.
Yeah,
He's a tough
fight, you know. You know, I always say we're gonna find out who is who on the night, and that's really what it comes down to. So I'm okay with it.
What is this, the best empanada in the world?
It might be.
Oh my God, dude.
the price is justified.
Yeah, it is. You're damn right it is. But you're not one of those guys, because a lot of guys, I usually side on the side of these guys. If you get that close to a title shot, I would do nothing. I'd wait for that. But you're young. You want to be active. So there's not a party that like title shot or bust. You know what I'm saying?
My next fight should absolutely be for a title, and
whether interim or
the real belt. So it really depends on which direction the UFC and Henry Cejudo want to go in. But I'm not fighting unless it's for a belt. I get paid the same whether it's interim or not. So I'm down for an interim title fight. If it's gonna be Petr Yan, I'm down for that. I think I match up really well with him.
It's a great fight.
I think it'll be a bad night for Mr. Yan. So if he wants to sign that contract, it's all good with me. As long as it's for a title, I'm not fighting unless it's for a world title.
Yeah, I feel like they have to make it for interim title because Cejudo's gonna be out for a little bit as well, right?
I think 4 to 5 months, he told me in person.
You have to
I
watch.
asked him.
Well, you got to. Both of you guys are sweethearts. Both of you guys are nice guys. It'll be a phenomenal fight, though.
We're competitors, though.
Yeah, you match up well with him.
We compete hard, and that's why I respect him.
I'd almost say you match up better with him than you do Peter. Is that fair?
Maybe the size.
Neither's easy. Neither's freaking easy. Yeah, size.
The size, which I thought would have been a huge factor with Marlon. And we saw how tough Cejudo is, man. He's a monster, man.
I felt like Henry broke Marlon.
Yeah. It was one of those punches, I think it was early in the second round, he clipped him, and you could tell Marlon's whole demeanor changed. And he went from like a serious face to like, kind of like he was a little worried in there, a little. Or,
I knew something was up when Mark Henry, who I used to train with, like in the corner, usually coaches are pretty relaxed. He goes, imagine what your mother did for you to get here.
Oh,
see what he did? I was like, God dang,
no one talked
bro.
about that. No one talked about that.
I'm like, oh, my logic behind that was like, oh, he has seen him kind of quit in the gym.
Yes.
So he hit him with that emergency freaking, think about your mom. And then, Marlon was like, nah, I'm done, dude.
That's funny that you brought that up because I don't think anyone's talked about that. And I didn't want to come out and be the guy to say it.
I'll say it.
Because I've obviously lost him. He knocked me out. For me to come out talking about it, it's probably like, well, you lost him, so you're just a little bitter about it. But I'm like, no, I'm just calling what I see, man. I try to remove myself and just look at it from a fan's perspective and as an analyst.
Yeah, that was alarming to me. When he did that, I went, oh shit, Marlon's in trouble. I feel like if you and Marlon rematch, not the first time, because I thought you matched up well with him, but Marlon's a monster. But now, once I see that in a fighter, I go, oh man, the cat's out of the bag. Like, if you can get Marlon moving and get him with shots, he's gonna break.
I still think even the first fight was like super weird because it was one of those fights where you wake up. Yeah, you wake up and it's like, you're about to fight, but it doesn't feel like you got the nerves and the same fight night feeling. I felt like I went in there a little overly confident Too relaxed. Like, I didn't even feel like I was fighting.
Ooh, I
didn't even feel like I was fighting. I just
Have you felt like that before?
No, it's the only time.
And it's the only time you really lost because the split decisions, that can go either way. That's not a loss. But the only time ever in my career where like I knew I was in trouble is when I wasn't nervous. I was like, shit.
Not good.
This ain't good. It's not good, man.
Yeah, so when that happened, I don't know, I was like, maybe I could turn it on when I get in the cage. It did not turn on. I was like, dude. And then he clipped me behind the ear. And I kind of just went to like a panic mode in my jiu-jitsu, but it's like autopilot, which is good. Because it's like, oh, I get clipped, I'm hurt, but I can still recover. And then I got up and I was like, you know what? If I can just get him back down to the floor, I can submit this guy. It's gonna be my night. It's gonna be my night. Even having a rough start, and I get him down I try to get him down to the ground. The ref steps in and I just shoot in, no setup, no nothing. I'm like, dude, that was like the most rookie mistake I think I've ever made in my life, and I paid the ultimate price for it,
Yeah, but you learn. You know what I'm saying? At that level, especially the level you're at,
inches, man.
In bantamweight, you're talking about not even inches, dude. You're talking fraction of a second. Should have zigged when should have zagged. You guys are so goddamn talented at bantamweight. Everyone's skills are so high from 1 to 15. It's trouble, man. But you're the number one guy in the world now. And
I always go and I say, had I did one level change or a feint, a stutter step, and get him to react and throw that switch kick before, it's a different fight. And I was like, this just goes to show you like the small technicalities of the details that people do to set things up and not setting things up, or what gets people in trouble or helps them have success.
But here's what's great about UFC and MMA in general. It's not boxing. Boxing, you lose one, you're kind of screwed. MMA, like, you're number one now. Like, you jump Marlon, now you're looking at a title shot. And our sport knows, like, there's so many ways to lose, especially at that high of a level. Like, it's really not, oh, you lose when you're screwed. You jump back to the queue. It's not like that in our sport, man. which is thank
I
God.
love it.
Me too. Thank God.
And I say, you know, I
Look
don't
at
think-
Ben Askren.
Yeah, I think he'll come back. Ben.
100%. You guys both share the name Funk. Funky.
Well, I actually mimicked a lot of my early stages of wrestling in college from him, because I started wrestling in 10th grade, which a lot of people don't know. So I just picked it up really
That was a late
fast, man.
start.
Yeah, I just submerged myself in the sport and said, you know what? I'm not gonna be tall enough to play basketball. I'm not gonna be big enough to play football, and I just
Smart.
changed directions. Well, it was only because my coach told me that. I was gonna try one more time my junior year, and I was like, you know what?
What, basketball?
Yeah, and I just went out for wrestling. I was like, you know what? This is my calling. I had so much
cool,
success
man.
with it the first year. I was like, dude, this is what I was meant to do, combat. Anything with one-on-one aspect. I'm just not big enough to do all these other team sports.
You obviously excelled at it, and then you wrestled with John Jones, right? You guys went to, was it community college?
No, well, it was a community college in the probationary period, transitioning into D3.
So it's like an in-between transitional from community to a regular Division
D3
III
program,
school?
yeah. So they
So
were
you guys
judo.
wrestled there.
Well, he was at Iowa first, and I guess something
at
happened.
Iowa?
Iowa Central.
Oh, which is a great
where he
school.
won a national title
Yeah, that's
his
right.
first year in college, and then he transferred out for whatever reason. I think he got into some trouble or his grades, something. And
All of the above, maybe.
yeah, so then he's at SUNY Morrisville with me. I'm like, everyone was talking about this guy. They were so pumped up about it. I didn't know who the hell this guy was.
How could you?
Well, he was from New York, and I just had no idea. And there's so many New York wrestlers on the team, guys that placed in the States. I never even went to States.
And you didn't know who he was?
No, no idea. But I knew who he was. As the first day he came, I got to see him practice, returning All-Americans, and he just tossed guys around with ease. It looked like he wasn't even trying. I was
Such a beast.
such an athletic monster, and the way he's so cerebral and like just breaks things down. I'm like,
He's
yo,
the greatest
dude,
of all time, man.
foot sweeping people, ankle picking people, and just making them look silly. I'm like, this is a returning All-American. The levels at such a young age was so.
And were you guys cool back then? Did you guys hang out or no?
We hung out. We
Yeah.
partied a little bit.
I bet that was fun.
I didn't do the extracurricular parties. I never even done that before, ever. But we hung out a bit. He actually recorded, I think, my first college match, and I got the video on YouTube still. And at the end, I pinned the guy. I'm getting my ass kicked. A kid from Blair Academy, now wrestling in college. So I'm just a kid from Unidale. I don't have no real credentials. And this kid's kicking my ass, and I end up coming back. I think it was the second or third period. I catch him in the Peterson row, and I stick him, pin this motherfucker. And then John Jones shows the camera. He's like hyped up. He's like, oh yeah, yeah.
That's
And
cool,
you know,
man.
so that's like my one sincere John Jones interaction moment before him inviting me down to come train when we both left that school.
Oh, you guys both left to train MMA or just wrestling?
I left to go to a different college. I think he dropped out, or he had got his girlfriend knocked up, his fiance, and I guess he had to make some big boy decisions and start figuring out ways to make money to provide, you know. So
And he figured it out.
yeah, he figured it the hell out real quick.
Think about back then when you two were kicking it, doing whatever extracurricular activities, partying in college. If someone went, hey, you're gonna be the #1 bantamweight in the world, and he's the greatest mixed martial artist in the world of all time.
Insane.
How crazy is that?
I still, even when people say it to me, I'm still like,
With John?
well, him, of course.
Both of you. Yeah, you're not
Even
used to
me.
#1 yet. You gotta start.
Nah.
Right when I said, I went, what's up, champ, #1 in the world, I can tell it, like you're,
It's like
you're
it's
not
still
used
like-
to it. We gotta get you used to that.
You know what? And I kind of try to like keep myself, because I don't want to ever get back to that point with Marlon where I felt like I was better than what I am and I can't be beaten. I almost felt like I was invincible going into that fight. And I felt like that played a major role in me losing that matchup in terms of my psyche and the way I approached that whole thing. And it was a short notice replacement fight. I think it was like 3 weeks notice. So there's a lot of things that I try to think about and try to help prepare myself for the future. I know, you know, this stuff is life-changing, man. You know, fighting for a world title, winning the belt. I've seen it firsthand with Chris Weidman, Matt Serra, you know, so I'm right there, and it's just a super exciting moment in my life.
Weidman and Ray Longo, I've heard them speak about you, and Ray Longo's always said this on the Anik Flooring podcast. Shout out to those boys. When they do the Ray Longo minute, but he talks for like 30 minutes,
Yeah.
whatever. But he always talked about how like you're the most talented guy in the gym, always. He's like, I'm telling you, this Aljamain, once he gets going, man, watch out, he's gonna be a world champion. And you hear it so much, it's kind of like, I take it with a grain of salt, but when it comes from Ray Longo or like a Mark Henry, because the only two guys I know that are that established who have talked like that, because they're not just gonna say it, because you know their kind of credentials are on the line. They're you know, is Ray Longo with you and Mark Henry with Zabit.
Yeah.
like probably 4 years ago, Mark Henry sent me like DMs of Zabit, and I was like, all right, cool, dude. He looks like the hormone monster. Like, what are we doing? And then,
Abe Lincoln.
yeah, I'm like, all right, but he's just a monster, man. Both you guys, yeah, it's really cool, man. So, I mean, I feel like you're living up to kind of the potential everyone's hoping.
I know I've been getting a lot of flack for that, and like people always say, like, you always talk about how good you are, and you just go out there and wrestle guys to death.
You don't have to tell them anymore. You don't
Yeah,
have
I'm
to
like,
tell them anymore.
you know what, man? Let the performance speak for itself. And I think I'm finally starting to show a lot of the things I do in the training room, which has been the hard part. It is getting over that mental hump to want to just go out there and just let it all go, knowing like putting yourself in that line of fire. And Matt always says it, Ray always says it, they go, in order to knock somebody out, you have to be in a position to also be knocked out yourself.
Yep.
And they always talk about that, and they said until you cross that line, that mental hurdle, that's the only time you're gonna be able to let it all go like you do in the training room. And in the training room, you're protected. You got the bigger gloves, you got the headgear.
You can make some mistakes.
Yeah, so you can get away with the mistakes. Where in the fight, small gloves, it's nothing padding those shins.
Trouble.
Or the knees. It's a different ball game, man. You get caught one time, that could be all she wrote.
We're gonna get a spot, man. I hope you get a toss shot or nothing. Toss shot or bust. Hopefully the UFC does that for you. Hopefully it's against Henry Cejudo. That's what I want for you.
I want to fight Henry.
I hope it's against Henry at bantamweight. Keep going with the podcast, man, because I'm telling you, I see a bunch of trash out there. Yours is really good, dude. Yours is really good. I'm telling you, I think your future's in entertainment. After you're done with this fighting thing, the UFC's gonna scoop you up. You're gonna be their main guy.
Thank you. I hope so, man. I just keep working. That's it.
Yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed the empanadas, man.
Oh, these are amazing. I might have to get one more. I'm not gonna lie.
Do it. Thanks for coming on, brother. Aljamain Sterling, everybody.